The Galactic Council convened under the vast canopy of stars, their meeting chamber a sprawling, crystalline structure suspended in the void. Representatives from the most advanced and ancient species of the galaxy gathered, their forms varying wildly, luminescent beings of pure energy, towering insectoid figures, reptilian overlords with scales that shimmered like molten silver. The air was thick with tension as their voices merged into a cacophony of languages, unified only through a translation network that filtered meaning across 1,000 dialects. The agenda was clear: humanity. For centuries, humanity had been a footnote in the Council's deliberations, a species confined to a modest star system. But their rapid technological advancements, fueled by an insatiable curiosity and relentless determination, had disrupted the equilibrium. Where other species stagnated in their comfort zones, humanity thrived on adversity, solving problems with a reckless ingenuity that defied galactic norms. The Vazari Prime Minister, a being resembling a crystalline obelisk, spoke first. Their growth is unsustainable. Their disregard for natural order is a threat to all we have built. The Thoraxian warlord, an insectoid creature with mandibles clicking in rhythmic agitation, responded. Threats are dealt with through strength. Let us extinguish their ambitions before they metastasize. Yet, not all were convinced of the need for conflict. A representative from the Luminal Coalition, a species of pure light, interjected, their voice a harmonious melody. Humanity is unique. Their history suggests they thrive under pressure, adapting to challenges that would destroy others. War may not yield the outcome you desire, but dissenting voices were silenced by the Orathian Chancellor, the de facto leader of the Council. His tone, deep and resonant, echoed authority. Enough deliberation. Humanity has crossed too many thresholds: unauthorized expansion, unsanctioned resource extraction, and, most egregious, their unbridled militarization. They must be shown their place. The decision was unanimous. An ultimatum was prepared, one that allowed humanity two choices: unconditional surrender or complete annihilation. It was sent through subspace channels, encrypted with the weight of the Council's authority, ensuring no room for misinterpretation. On Earth, the message arrived in the midst of an ordinary day. Leaders from every nation convened, their differences momentarily set aside as they listened to the transmission. It was a stark reminder that humanity's infighting paled in comparison to the existential threat now looming. There was no panic in their response, no capitulation to fear. Instead, a resolve began to take root, spreading like wildfire. Across Earth's diverse populations, the sentiment was unanimous. Surrender was not an option. Humanity had faced countless threats throughout its history: natural disasters, plagues, world wars, and emerged stronger each time. This would be no different. As preparations began, a historian addressed the Global Council. If they want war, let's give them a lesson in what it truly means. Our history is a testament to survival against impossible odds. Let's show them the cost of underestimating humanity. In that moment, humanity's war for survival became a war to teach the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. The tide of war began to shift as humanity's unconventional tactics continued to frustrate the Galactic Council's forces. What the Council had expected to be a swift and decisive campaign had devolved into a prolonged and chaotic conflict. Every assumption they held about warfare was dismantled, one skirmish at a time. Humanity had taken the initiative, exploiting every weakness the Council hadn't even realized existed. One of humanity's greatest strengths was their ability to innovate under pressure. While the Council relied on technology refined over millennia, humanity saw every engagement as an opportunity to learn and adapt. Engineers on Earth and in orbital stations worked tirelessly, reverse engineering alien technology salvaged from the battlefield. Their crowning achievement was the development of a new type of stealth system, one that rendered human ships invisible to the Council's advanced sensors. This breakthrough allowed humanity to strike deep into enemy territory. Entire fleets would vanish from Council scanners, reappearing only to deliver devastating attacks on key installations. Supply depots exploded in the night. Shipyards were reduced to rubble before reinforcements could arrive. The Council's forces, once united and confident, began to fracture under the strain. Psychological warfare escalated as well. Using intercepted Council communications, humanity planted false information, tricking alien commanders into wasting resources chasing phantom fleets or defending non-existent targets. These deceptions created paranoia among the Council's ranks. Commanders began to mistrust their own intelligence networks, hesitating to act without irrefutable proof. Humanity turned the Council's bureaucracy into a weapon against itself. The fractures within the Galactic Council's alliance became more pronounced. Minor species that had long been subjugated by the dominant powers began to see humanity not as a threat, but as a symbol of resistance. Whispers of rebellion spread across the galaxy, inspired by humanity's defiance. Some species began sabotaging their own fleets, undermining the Council from within. Others defected outright, offering intelligence and resources to humanity in exchange for a promise of mutual respect and autonomy. Humanity's victories were not without cost. Every engagement pushed their limited resources to the brink. But even in the face of these hardships, they refused to falter. Each loss was a lesson, each setback a chance to refine their strategy. Their resilience became a force multiplier, amplifying the impact of every action. The turning point came during an audacious operation deep in Council-controlled space. Humanity launched a coordinated assault on a critical hyperspace relay, a hub that connected several key Council systems. The mission was deemed impossible by conventional standards. The relay was heavily fortified, its defenses capable of repelling entire fleets. But humanity's strength lay in their refusal to play by conventional rules. A decoy fleet launched a frontal assault, drawing the full attention of the Council's defenders. Meanwhile, a stealth squadron slipped past their sensors, infiltrating the relay and planting charges at key structural points. The operation culminated in a synchronized detonation that shattered the relay, severing the Council's supply lines and plunging their systems into chaos. The aftermath of the relay's destruction was a testament to humanity's ingenuity. Entire sectors of Council space were thrown into disarray, their fleets stranded, and their logistics crippled. The once mighty Council, which had dominated the galaxy for millennia, now found itself scrambling to respond to an enemy it had dismissed as inferior. As the war dragged on, humanity's message became clear. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting to redefine the galaxy's understanding of power and unity. The Galactic Council, for all its technological superiority, had failed to grasp the true nature of their opponent. Humanity was not a species that could be subjugated or eradicated. They were a force of nature, capable of turning adversity into strength and turning the impossible into reality. The galaxy was beginning to understand the lesson humanity had been teaching all along. The Council had underestimated them, and now they were paying the price. One battle at a time, humanity was proving that their place in the galaxy was not granted by the Council's approval, but earned through their unyielding determination. The Galactic Council's forces, battered and fractured, found themselves on the defensive for the first time in their long history. What had started as a campaign of dominance had turned into a desperate struggle to hold their ground. Humanity, through sheer resilience and ingenuity, had forced the Council to confront a reality they had never considered. They were losing. The final phase of humanity's strategy was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was not a single decisive battle, but a carefully orchestrated campaign designed to strike at the very heart of the Council's power, its unity. The once unbreakable alliance of dominant species was unraveling under the pressure of prolonged conflict, and humanity intended to accelerate that process. Using the intelligence gathered from defectors and captured Council databases, humanity launched a series of coordinated strikes against targets that held symbolic and strategic significance to different member species. Each attack was carefully calibrated, not just to weaken the Council's military capabilities, but to erode the trust and cohesion among its members. The Vizari, who had long prided themselves on their invulnerable planetary defenses, watched in horror as humanity's precision strikes rendered their fortresses obsolete. The Thraxians, who relied on their vast fleets to enforce their will, found their ships isolated and vulnerable, picked off one by humanity's stealth squadrons. The psychological toll on the Council was immense. Their leaders, once unified in their arrogance, now turned on each other, blaming their failures on internal sabotage and incompetence. Meetings devolved into shouting matches as alliances crumbled. Humanity's defiance had exposed the fragility of their power, and the cracks were widening. Amidst this chaos, humanity delivered its final message to the galaxy. Using the Council's own communication network, they broadcast a transmission that reached every corner of known space. It was not a declaration of victory or a demand for surrender, but a story of humanity's journey through adversity. The transmission recounted the darkest moments of Earth's history, wars that had ravaged continents, disasters that had threatened extinction, and conflicts that had pushed humanity to the brink. But it also spoke of the lessons learned, the resilience forged, and the progress achieved in the face of those challenges. It was a reminder that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their strategy, but their ability to adapt, endure, and grow. The message resonated far beyond its intended audience. Across the galaxy, species that had long been oppressed or marginalized by the Council began to see humanity not as a threat, but as a beacon of hope. The broadcast was a call to action, an invitation to join in the creation of a new galactic order, one built on cooperation and mutual respect rather than dominance and fear. The Council, now isolated and disorganized, had no choice but to capitulate. Humanity had proven that their strength lay not in their numbers or their resources, but in their ability to think differently, to challenge the status quo, and to inspire others to do the same. The war ended not with a final battle but with a realization: the galaxy was no longer theirs to control. In the aftermath, humanity was offered a seat at the table, not as a subordinate species, but as an equal partner in shaping the future. The Galactic Council, humbled and restructured, became a forum for collaboration rather than domination. Humanity's lessons had reshaped the galaxy, creating a new era defined not by power, but by the shared determination to build a better future. The war that had begun as a bid to crush humanity ended as a testament to their resilience and ingenuity. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Their defiance, creativity, and indomitable spirit had earned them their place among the stars, and they would ensure that the lessons of their history were never forgotten.